So, have you heard this term, quantum intelligence? It's a phrase that's popping up in two completely different, almost opposite worlds. In one, you've got cutting-edge physics and computation, and in the other, it's being used to promise a whole new way of living. So, what is it really? A science or a system? Well, our journey starts with this. Honestly, an almost unbelievable promise from a company called Genie. They don't just say you can achieve your goals, they straight up guarantee it. And get this, if you don't, they promise to double your investment every single year until you do. I mean, that's not just a bold claim. They're literally putting their money where their mouth is, on your success. And of course, the first question on anyone's mind is, how, right? How can any company, any system at all, offer a money-backed guarantee on something as personal and complicated as manifesting your dream life? What in the world could possibly be powering that? And here's their answer. QIPA. It stands for Quantum Intelligence Predictive Algorithms. They claim these algorithms are so incredibly accurate that they can map out a path to guaranteed success. And that right there brings us to the core of their claim, quantum intelligence. But, before we can even begin to understand what Genie means by that, we have to ground ourselves in what that term means in the world of actual, real science. So let's bump the brakes for a second and start with the reality. What are artificial intelligence and quantum computing, really? And how do they actually work together in the real world? Okay, first things first, let's get our terms straight. It really helps to think of AI like a set of those Russian nesting dolls. The biggest doll, the outside one, is artificial intelligence itself, the whole big field. You open that up, and inside you've got machine learning, which is all about training models on data. Go one layer deeper, and you find deep learning with all its complex neural networks. And then right there, at the very center, you've got generative AI, the stuff that can create brand new content like text or images or code. Now, for the other side of this coin, quantum computing. Just think of it as a completely different, kind of mind-bending way to process information. Instead of the normal computer bits that are just a 0 or a 1, it uses qubits that can be both 0 times 1 at the exact same time, a state they call superposition. It's weird, I know, but this and some other strange quantum rules lets these computers tackle problems that are basically impossible for even the most powerful supercomputers we have today. Which, of course, leads to the big question. We've got AI, this powerhouse of pattern recognition, and we've got quantum computing, this whole new frontier of calculation. So, how are scientists actually putting them together? What does it actually look like when AI is helping a quantum computer in a research lab? Well, it turns out AI can help across the entire life cycle of a quantum computer. This workflow here shows you the typical process, from the very beginning with hardware design all the way to processing the final results. Let's take a look at where AI actually slots in. First up, just building the thing. Building a quantum computer is incredibly difficult. We are talking about engineering at the level of individual atoms. So AI is being used to help design better quantum circuits, to automatically adjust for tiny, tiny imperfections in manufacturing, and even to learn the fundamental physics of a quantum system directly from the data. It's really become an indispensable partner in the design phase. And then you have the operational side. Once the machine is actually built, AI helps make it work. It optimizes quantum algorithms before they even run. It automates the incredibly delicate process of tuning the machine. And this is a huge one. It helps with error correction. See, quantum systems are super, super fragile, and AI-powered decoders are absolutely essential for finding and fixing the constant stream of errors they produce. And wow, this slide right here perfectly captures the two worlds we're exploring. On the left, you've got the scientific reality, a complex AI model, a lot like what powers ChatGPT, being used for the nitty-gritty, messy task of correcting errors on a grid of qubits. It's technical, it's specific, it's measurable. And on the right, you've got GenieAI's version, clean, conceptual, aspirational. That contrast, well, that's everything. Okay, so now that we've got a better handle on the real science, let's circle back to Genie's promise. What exactly is this ethical ecosystem they keep talking about, and where does their version of quantum intelligence fit into all this? And what you find out pretty quickly is that GenieAI isn't being presented as just a standalone technology. Not in the way a scientist would describe a tool, no. Instead, it's just one component inside this much larger philosophical and organizational framework they call the Triple Helix. It's basically a model for society. So their whole ecosystem is built in 4 layers, kind of from the ground up. It all starts with the individual, with creating ethical leadership. Then it scales up to the level of culture with narrative. From there, it moves into real-world action with industry, and finally, it aims to structure society itself through governance. It's not just a blueprint for a company, it's a blueprint for a whole civilization. So here's their whole system visualized. And the key thing to notice here is the flow, right? It all moves from the bottom up. It's all resting on this foundation of ethics and industry. And if you look right at the very bottom, you see it, the do no harm AI. So in their model, the AI isn't the goal itself. It's the tool that's meant to guide this entire structure. And their own words make this super clear. So in their system, AI isn't the one in charge. It's not the decision maker. It's described as an amplifier, a tool that's supposed to enhance clarity, cut down on waste, and support human decisions, all while staying inside the strict ethical lines drawn by that first layer. And that brings us to our final section, where we get to put these two very different definitions right next to each other. What can we learn from this contrast between quantum intelligence as a science and as a system? And here it is, laid out plain as day. The difference is pretty stark, isn't it? On one side, you have AI as a super specialized wrench, a tool used by physicists to solve very specific, concrete engineering problems. On the other, you have AI as a kind of moral compass, an amplifier for human ethics that's meant to optimize entire societies. Ultimately, it really just boils down to this. The scientific community uses the actual principles of quantum mechanics to build a brand new kind of computer. The GenAI system, on the other hand, uses the language and the concepts of quantum physics more as a metaphor to frame a new model for civilization. One is about computation, the other is about civilization. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. As powerful new fields like AI and quantum computing keep developing, we're definitely going to see their language get used in more and more different contexts. So the question for us is, how do we learn to navigate that? How do we tell the difference between the scientific tool and the philosophical metaphor? Knowing the difference between the science and the system, well, that seems more important than ever. It's definitely something worth thinking about.